What do you think Raila Odinga should do to defeat William Samoei Ruto in 2022? Because let's face it, 2022 general election and the presidential elections in Kenya is going to be a two-horse race between the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. So what do you think Raila Odinga should do to outwit William Samoei Ruto in 2022? In this video today, I want us to look at 6 things which Raila Odinga should do to win against William Samoei Ruto in 2022. But before we do that, yesterday was a huge day on this channel. We hit 100,000 subscribers milestone. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys all. I know so many of you were eagerly awaiting for us to hit 100,000. Our expectations and projections were that we were going to hit 100,000 in February. But we hit it yesterday. Even yesterday by 9 in the night, we were not very sure. Because I was with my son and he kept on asking me whether daddy tumefika 100,000. And I remember him going to bed before we hit it. And by the time I was going to bed, we were at 100,000. I know so many of you guys contributed by liking the video, sharing the videos, just talking about this channel. So many of you guys. I know we have so many amazing women and ladies on this platform. They've kept us moving. You know, it's not easy for just an ordinary person like myself, a person with no proper name, a person like myself who is not a celebrity, a person like myself and like someone like my senior, Herman Manyora, who is exposed via TV to move so fast and hit 100,000. So I want to thank you guys all from the bottom of my heart. I'll specifically do a video on the journey, on how we started up to now. Because I know most of you maybe just joined the other day. Most of you maybe started from when we started, and they'll know how it began. But that one I'll do a separate video. But from the bottom of my heart, just know that I really value you guys. I really thank you guys. There's a crew. They call themselves Lee Gang. These guys are always, I don't know, sometimes I even ask them, sasa wewe, ulikuwa wapi? I just post a video, then I try to share to some of them via WhatsApp, and I niambia, hey, you're already boss, bora to me watch already. So I want to thank you guys. Now let me go now straight to 6 things which Raila Odinga can do. Because we all know that William Ruto is the only presidential candidate in this country who has declared his bid. Raila Odinga has not declared his bid. Kalonzo Musyoka has not declared his bid. Musalia Mudavadi, I think, was clear over the weekend that he's going to go for the presidency. But formally, he's yet to make that announcement. And we know that in the last election, Raila Odinga performed so well. Even in 2013, he performed so well. But now there is an element of William Ruto factor. William Ruto is changing the game. He's changing the narrative. He's changing the equation. Because William Ruto is now trying to penetrate Raila Odinga's strongholds. As he retain and consolidate his own strongholds. But what can Raila Odinga do to win against him? In my view, 6 things. Number 1, the first thing Raila must do is that Raila Odinga and his team must be prepared to counter William Ruto's propaganda. William Ruto and his team are very good at propaganda. They're very good at it. Let me tell you, you don't know. When Raila Odinga was heckled in courts in Burma, that was part of William Ruto's propaganda machine. They knew Raila was going there. They organized some guys there, and the camera was ready. So Raila Odinga addressed the gathering. So when they were almost leaving, these guys came with wheelbarrows. In Nyeri, the same wheelbarrow people invaded a football match. In this country today, someone was asking me on my WhatsApp, what's really happening between Uhuru and Raila? Nothing. Those guys are tight. But William Ruto's propaganda machine is projecting an image that Uhuru is dumping Raila. So Raila Odinga and his team must be ready to deal with the propaganda. Remember, Ruto is part of Jubilee. Whenever he's in Central, he's explaining to them how he's the best suited guy, having worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta, walete SGR, walete sijui nini, walete nini. Sasa, then at the end of it, he is asking the people whether he's the right guy to continue with this legacy or William Ganga. So ODM and Raila Odinga must be ready to counter William Ruto's propaganda. And that's why, if you are keen, you should have realized that Raila Odinga, through his Facebook page, has been trying to counter the propaganda. I want to just watch a bit of this clip of Raila Odinga trying to counter the propaganda by William Samoei Ruto before we go to the second thing he should do.
You are squarely to blame for the failure of this administration to deliver on our mandate, because you came and overturned our priorities and changed our focus.
To trust the institutions, isn't it?
My friend, the fact that I am elected deputy president means the people of Kenya, if things go wrong in this government, President Uhuru Kenyatta and I will be the ones to be asked. Forget even about MD of, I don't know, some organization, cabinet secretary this and cabinet secretary that. Ultimately, the people that were given the mandate to run the affairs of this government by the people of Kenya is President Uhuru Kenyatta and I. Tell me for 1 minute, why, after the trust that people of Kenya put on me, why would I sit on national television and say something that's untrue? And to what gain and to what end?
Okay. My point is, ultimately, you...
The second thing, in my considered opinion, which Raila Odinga should do, is to ensure that Kalonzo Musyoka is on the ballot for 2022. Musalia Mudavadi is on the ballot in 2022. Then if Kingi wants to run, he can also ensure that Kingi is also on the ballot. Raila Odinga has followers and he has supporters. His followers cannot leave him. Again, he can reach out to other people to support him. So what this will mean is that if you have Kalonzo running, we have Mudavadi running, we have Ruto running, we have Raila running, Kingi running, and maybe any other serious candidate, then chances of any of them getting 50+1% is going to be very minimal. So basically, it's going to force a rerun. Then while he's campaigning, he should campaign targeting to be either number 1 or number 2. So if he comes number 1, then people will still go for a runoff. Definitely Ruto will be number 2. If Ruto will become number 1, then definitely he will be number 2. Then the rerun will come now. So in the rerun, now Kalonzo will be out. Musalia Mudavadi will be out. Kingi will be out. And since we know Ruto and his team are normally specialists in insults, so probably they shall have insulted all these other leaders. And of course now, new members shall have been elected. Now the ground will be now for the two of them. Then Raila Odinga can now claim victory. Because in the first term, I strongly believe that if Raila Odinga were to face Ruto, if we were to have a contest between Ruto and Raila today, what's going to happen is very simple. What's going to happen is very simple. There are those who supported Raila in the last election. They might not support Raila Odinga again. But if Raila is running against Ruto, against Mudavadi, some of them who would want to leave would not vote for Ruto. So they'll have option. Kambas will now have option of not voting for Ruto, because Ruto is going to split Ukambani if Kalonzo is not running with Raila. So in this case, they are going to die with their man. Then go and die with Musalia Mudavadi instead of voting for Ruto. So it's going to avoid clear win by Ruto, but force a rerun. Then for the rerun, it will now be easy to negotiate. And that's why I keep on saying that Raila Odinga should even reconsider his support for the BBI, so that we don't have those additional prime ministers, two deputy prime ministers, for exclusivity, just for the purposes of this particular election. The third thing he must do is to reactivate the ODM grassroots network. You know, ODM party, and I've always maintained here, is one of the parties which had some of the best structures in this country. ODM party has 3 streams. There is the Women League, then there is the Youth League, and then there is the mainstream. In all these, there are elected officials. So in Youth League, we have the secretary, we have the chairman, the secretary, the treasurer, and I think there's some other 20 officials. So in total, there's 20 officials. So if you go to ODM structures begins at the polling station. So it means in your village where you normally vote, ODM ideally is supposed to have a structure there. They're supposed to have the Youth League, Youth League, Women League, and the mainstream. Each of these should have 20. It's only the mainstream which has 18, because the chair of the Women League and the chair of Youth League are normally added to the mainstream to make them 20. So it means at every polling station, ODM should have around 58 officials. How many, assuming only those officials are going to vote, how many polling stations do we have in this country? Several. So that alone is enough for ODM party. So Raila Odinga must now go back and reactivate the networks, because most of these networks were killed by governors. And governors have been using their structures, the ward administrators, their cronies, and the rest. Then from the polling stations, ODM also have the same number of officials at the ward level. Then you go to the sub-county level, which is constituencies, they also have the same officials. Then you go to the county level, then there's the same officials, number of officials. So which means the ODM structures alone in a county is huge enough. Like if you go to these central Kenya areas, ODM officials alone is enough to get Raila Odinga, I think, the number he wants. Like if it's 10%, then with Uhuru Kenyattas giving you another 10 or 20%, then it'll be home and dry. So that's the third thing he must do. The fourth thing he must do is to seek for President Uhuru Kenyatta's endorsement. The handshake was good for Raila Odinga. BBI is hurting his image. He's losing some of his core support base. Uhuru Kenyatta is the president of the Republic of Kenya. So if Uhuru Kenyatta is going to endorse Raila Odinga, he's going to have that assurance of the system or the deep state. Public endorsement, that is. Then in central Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta might be unpopular. Maybe 60% of people don't want him. But there's a percentage which wants him. There's a percentage which will go with Uhuru Kenyatta. And Uhuru Kenyatta's deep state alone is enough to attract enough funding to Raila Odinga. So if Uhuru Kenyatta were to endorse Raila Odinga today, what's going to happen? Even there are certain people who now start seeing Raila Odinga as a potential president of the Republic of Kenya. So they'll invest even their energy, their money, and resources in the campaign. So Uhuru Kenyatta endorsement is something which Raila Odinga must pursue. He must pursue that endorsement. There is no shortcut. He must pursue that endorsement. Number 5 is a super alliance. So this super alliance must be crafted before 2022, so that he will be able to know whether Musalia Mudavadi is there, Joho is there, Kalonzo is there, whether it's Oparanya, Eugene Wamalwa. He must craft that alliance. If it's not going to be crafted now, then he must focus on my point number 2 of forcing a run-up by ensuring that Kalonzo runs, Mudavadi runs, then at the end of the day, after the first contest, then these guys form a super alliance. I'm sure with a strong super alliance, Ruto is not going to see them, because Ruto is already decided his band is going to be a one-man army, and already his strategy is very clear. The people who are going to support him, the regional leaders, he's already crafting them, and probably in my next video I should do that. And lastly, the sixth thing he must do is to create a euphoria. Raila Odinga is normally very good at creating euphoria, and some of this euphoria can always be created either through a song or a slogan. You remember the Unbogable song, how it used to charge people. You remember Nasa Tibim song, how it used to charge those rallies. Today in this country, nobody can stop reggae song. Whenever it's passing, I can tell from the crowd, whenever Raila is in a rally, that is charging people. But is it the right song? So these guys must get the right song. They must also get the right slogan. Those ODM slogans, those NASA slogans, zimepitwa na wakati. And it's my belief that those who are going to handle Raila Odinga are not going to come up with the Mnyambo ya Ponda, you know, those kind of slogans they used to to tell him to use. He must create a euphoria. And after creating that euphoria, it has to be sustained. When Uhuru and Raila were in Kisumu, they created a euphoria the last time. That euphoria ought to have been sustained, but they didn't sustain it. And that's exactly what William Ruto is doing. William Ruto is creating a euphoria. When he's going to a place, he ensures that people are well mobilized. All borders are paid to join him. Then when his convoys arrives, let me tell you what Ruto does, which Raila Odinga is not doing. When Ruto is going to a place, let's say like the day Ruto went to Kayole, Ruto was accompanied by 40 members of parliament. 40. Those 40 members of parliament, each one of them coming with their vehicles. That means how many vehicles? You already have 40 vehicles. 40. Some always come with the tow. In those vehicles, already there are 5 people. So if you have 40 vehicles and each vehicle has 5 people, that's how many already? 40 times 5. 2,000 or 200, sorry. 200 people already. Just the convoy. Some of these people also carry their own supporters to these rallies. Then after carrying those 40 MPs, 40 MPs now coming with other people, now that's already 200 people. Then he invited 500 MCS from across the larger Mount Kenya region. So this 500 MCS, assuming only 300 came, and each one of them driving or cost sharing. So let's say 300 of them came, and they came with 100 vehicles or something like that. So if that convoy is following Ruto, and Ruto makes a stop in the middle of the road the way he normally does, what happens? A jam, a very good jam is created already, and people will easily come and follow. So Raila Odinga must also try creating a euphoria. That's the only way out. He must create a euphoria. He must start mobilizing his people. When Raila Odinga was in Embakasi, how many members of parliament accompanied him? There was only Babu Wino, Aladwa, Maina Kamanda. Who else? Only. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. When do you want me to do a video on us reaching 100,000 subscribers? Let me know. Thank you guys.